Valley Towel Sports family, good evening and welcome to the show. Uh, PSA, we're all alive. All four of us are healthy and well. It's just been a busy month for most of us. Work, family, all that stuff going on. So we're just gonna catch up and just kind of hang out tonight. Obviously, there's a lot going on in the sports world across the board and tons of things popping off that we'll get into. But Todd, it's been almost a month for us.
Dude, it feels like I'm on a fucking first date right now. I'm so
I know,
nervous.
right? God.
Looking back at myself, wondering if everybody sees me the way that I see myself. Just a little worried that they're like, who is this guy? What happened to him? He looks like he's aged since his last time on screen here. But it's good, dude. Good, can't complain.
Yeah, what's
complain.
what's been going on, man? I know we were just talking. You said you just came back from a camping trip.
Yeah, man, it's been a busy. Yeah, it's been busy. Okay, good. It's been busy, dude. Graduation parties. I had a niece and a nephew graduate high school, so had the graduation party for my nephew already. Have the one for my niece this weekend. We did a family camping trip to Versailles State Park. It's just like 30 miles past the casino in Lawrenceburg. It was really good.
Did you actually hit the casino?
No casino.
Oh.
No, it's too far. It's too far to drive there and drive back.
That's all right.
I thought about it on the way in, but it's hard to take a 3-year-old into a casino, you know?
Yeah, it's frowned upon.
I think they tell me to turn back around.
Yeah, I mean, rightfully so.
Yeah, but it's nice, dude. It was right before the absolute scorch of the earth heat that we've been dealing with this week.
Tell me about it.
Got the last few days of nice weather for that, and it's crazy, dude. I mean, like, I know you work outside, you're in it all the time, but yeah. I took like a 40-minute walk for what I would consider my lunch break today at 10:15. I walked back into my office dripping sweat. I don't think my jeans never recovered from the walk. I'm pretty sure I just walked around swampy all day long.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, it's a lost cause if you didn't bring an extra pair of jeans with you and undies.
I did not. So. I did not. I'm also on the injured list right now, dude. So I have no spare clothes. I pinched a nerve somewhere between the base of my skull into like where this round knot is on right below your neck here.
On your back right here.
Yeah, and initially it was kind of scary, man. Like I told you, I'll share it with everybody. Yeah. Like,
Cody, what's up, man? Thanks for liking the video.
I lost my feeling, like my hand, wrist down was completely numb for like, I don't know, 2 days almost. So I had to spend one day at work where I couldn't really use my right hand. And I was just kind of using my left hand to do everything. And, using a keyboard and mouse when you're used to being right-handed, buddy, no joke. It was no joke turning that thing around. But I'm on the mend though. It's down to just like right here, and my thumb is still kind of numb. But the thing it's turned into now is like I'm back on like the 7 out of 10 pain scale.
Ooh.
From like here to elbow. So, and my biceps all swollen too. So I think I'm out of commission for at least 2 more weeks on lifting, unfortunately.
Yeah. No, you need to take it easy, man. We're not spring chickens anymore.
No, it just sucks, dude. That's my stress reliever. And that's, and when it's been a part of my routine for the last, Declan's 3, so 3.5 years, somewhere in that ballpark. And now I've messed up my routine, and like I get up at the same time and I just lay in bed and scroll TikTok like a fucking bum. So weird. So weird. Just changed oddly enough, my work motivation levels have gone up. I don't know what that's about. Maybe like channeling.
You got to have an outlet somewhere.
Yeah. So I'm sure that the people that work for me don't really appreciate it that much, because I've definitely been on my P's and Q's a lot more than I normally am. But It sucks, man. This is my first like real. I'm gonna have to sit out for a while injury I've ever had since I've been lifting. So
Yeah, I mean, I know you've had some here and there, but nothing that's kept
nothing.
you out more than a month.
Yeah, this is gonna be at least another 2 weeks. If it's not better in a couple weeks, I'll have to call a doctor and see what's going on.
Yeah, man, that's that's tough. I hope
it is what it is, brother.
I just have to have Mary massage that out, man.
Dude, it's been massaged. I don't think there's any more massaging left. I need somebody to just saw it off and then fix the nerve and just sew it back on, and I'll be fine with that. That's kind of how I feel at this point.
Appreciate you, bro. Well, hopefully each day gets better. Yeah, that's
appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, it's been a super busy month for me too. Started the month off, went to Boston.
Yeah, you did.
One hell of a trip. Too short. It started off with our flights getting canceled on that Monday. I don't know if I told you that.
No.
Yeah. So it was Sunday, day prior. I got an email from American at like 4:00, and it said your flight's been canceled. And I'm like, I didn't cancel shit. Like, what happened? So I'm freaking out. I get on the computer. I'm trying to figure it out. I call the airline and they're like, yeah, your plane got stuck in Dallas. It's not going to make it out of there because of the weather that they're having. So you're going to have to change your flight, or you can get a refund. And I'm like, I've already got hotels and tickets. Like I got to get there. Like,
right.
Like there's no going back. Like I've got to get there one way or the other. And, we ended up getting a flight later that evening. So we flew out at like 7 p.m. on Monday, rolled in at like a little after 10:30. John and my cousin and I, we went out to casino. Pops went to sleep. Well, I didn't go to sleep. He doesn't, he naps.
Yeah.
Kind of how it goes. But yeah, I mean, we stayed out. I was like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and we got back to the hotel, and then we were up bright and early. Me and my cousin and my dad took a road trip north into Rhode Island to go see my great aunt, who's 97.
Holy crap.
Yeah, what an absolutely just sharp individual for 97. Also, she's hilarious. So it was a very, very quality visit there. And then obviously later that evening on Tuesday, we got to go to the game. It's one of 2 stadiums I've walked in where I had nothing to say. It's just like, wow.
Dope.
Yeah, the seats were amazing. It was a great game. Atlanta beat the brakes off of Boston, but yeah, it was a really solid trip, man. For being there for 36 hours, we packed a lot in, and it was a good time. And then I've been working pretty much every day that I wasn't there. So
it's crazy.
And that's my month. Tell Todd about the car. Okay, so this is the one story I will tell, and then we'll dive into a little bit of sports action here. But so forgive me if I'm wrong, but Aunt Fran married into an Italian family, I believe, or she's something. So she's very put together. She's always got her hair done, her makeup done, her house immaculate. Right. Literally the cleanest place I've ever seen, and she does it all herself, and she's 97.
Nice.
Like, it's unbelievable. Like, there was not like a flick of dust anywhere.
Nice.
Anyways, so her thick Boston accent, she's telling us about how, she has to, she's Italian. Okay. That's what I thought. How she has to get back and forth, to go get her hair done. And she's like, yeah, a few years ago, they took my license and my plates. And so I can't drive. She's like, but I still had to get to the salon. So I went digging around the garage, and I found Uncle Bob's old license plates, and I threw those on the car. And I drive back and forth. She's like, I'm 97. What are they going to do?
Damn, that's savage.
Oh, man.
Was that like a monthly trip for her, probably, right?
Yeah. Maybe
twice a
every
month.
couple weeks. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was, dude, like the way that I tell it gives no justice to the way that she told it. It was one of the funniest things I've ever been able to sit and listen to. It was
She
just
she
genuinely
just said,
hilarious.
fuck the popo.
Yep.
I'm getting my
Doesn't
hair
care.
done.
Doesn't care. She's going to get a hair done.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Gotta love the commitment to something like that, dude. I wish I was a quarter of committed to anything as she is to getting her hair done.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, that would be incredible. I will say she did take us to this breakfast spot. I've never had a pancake better.
Really?
There was these pancakes were like bigger than your face. It was a 3-stack cinnamon roll pancakes, homemade.
Ooh.
And they were absolutely. It was a
That
lot.
sounds divine. Yeah.
But man, it was well worth it. It was well worth the drive. Whenever I go back up there, I'm going to go find that place, and we're going to have breakfast there. So
sounds good to me. Cinnamon roll pancakes sound delightful.
Oh, dude, the coffee was good. The pancakes were good. The toast, everything was good. I got everything: pancakes, bacon, sausage, eggs. But you name it, I had it.
Yeah. Well, that's what when you're on. Here's the thing. Here's the thing about when you're on vacation. You don't count your calories.
Oh no.
You don't think about what you're eating.
You deal with that when you get back.
I said the same thing. So Saturday night of that camping trip, it was like family taco night, right?
And you probably had 14.
I would say anywhere between 7 to 10 tacos is probably what I ingested. And
well, these are like homemade, so you were loading them up.
Yeah, like burrito shell tacos, right?
Yeah.
Like white people tacos. Mary's mom was like, "Aren't you worried about how much you're eating?" And I said, "I haven't thought about 1 second what I've eaten in the last 2 days. I'm just letting it rip."
Nope. I'm gonna drink all the beer I can functionally consume. Yeah. I'm gonna eat as much as I can, and I'm gonna sleep like a child.
That's it. That's my goal. That's my goal. But yeah, you don't think about what you're eating when you're on vacation. You just let it rip.
Oh, dude, it was pizza, beers, fucking vodka, whiskey, you name it. We had it.
Is the pizza good up there?
It was decent. The couple spots. I mean, it was like the chain. They have like a. It's not obviously not La Rosa's, but like their like in stadium pizza place was Sal's, and it was a pretty good slice. It wasn't like it didn't blow me away.
Right.
And then after the game, we went to like a bar that was right down the street, and they had some coal-fired pizza there. Like I said, it was good. I would eat it again.
Right.
You know, it's not. I would want to go try somewhere else.
Right. You're not going back there and going.
I'm not saying like we have to go here. Like it's not like the breakfast place. Like that.
Right. It's not like the pancakes.
It's an hour drive north, but I swear it is worth every mile.
Let me ask you this. What's the one place in Fairfield that is like if someone that or let's say Fairfield adjacent, right? Geographically within a 30-minute drive. What's the one place if someone were to come into town that that you're like, I have to take you to this place to try it?
It just depends on what you're looking for. It might be a little further away, but like I will say Drake's in Florence is one of my favorite spots.
It's a good spot.
Those little mini burgers are outstanding.
That's fair.
Anytime I'm in that general area and I'm with people, I'm like, that's where we're going for lunch. You never been here? Great. Here's what you're going to order, and you're going to love it.
Yeah, and that's what you did when we went there.
Yeah, I've never had anybody tell me that was a terrible decision.
No, it was good.
But Fairfield-wise, like up here, it used to be Big Arts. I don't know if you ever ate
the barbecue place,
the barbecue spot that was like next to a gas station.
Yeah, it was basically off of Pippin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That place, there wasn't a bad thing in there.
No,
it was killer. Some of the best barbecue you could ever find in this area. It's not open anymore, unfortunately.
I know, it's sad when he closed it down.
Yeah,
devastating.
Well, I thought he passed away and the family didn't want to run it. I thought that was kind of what
something like that. I just know it was gone and everyone was very sad when it left.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, the Meritage, I don't know. I don't think I've heard of that. Well,
I don't think I've been there either.
We never eaten there, Pops.
Must be some high-end dining.
No, I love food. Yeah, can you think of anything down here? They're like,
No, that's why I'm asking you. I mean, there's not really any
it's a
like.
bunch of chains. It's not like
That's what I was gonna say. There's not really. There's nothing really left that's like
you know what?
community specific, like except for Fairfield Pizza.
That spot in Blue Ash. What the heck is it called, Dad? You know what I'm talking about. It's a really, really, really big like bar in Blue Ash. Oh my god. Silver Spring House.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
That's it. That's where I would take somebody. Is a Silver Spring.
That's a good one. Yep, that's a good point. I'll agree with you on that. That is adjacent. That's within a 30-minute drive.
I mean, that's like 15, 20 minutes from here.
Yeah, that's a.
So,
I 110% agree. I would go back there in a heartbeat.
Yeah, Silver Spring House, 10 out of 10. So
I agree. Good answer. I completely forget about that.
Yeah,
place.
I had to rack because I went out shooting guns there, and there's a place in Blue Ash that I went to, and then I was like, shit, that's right around the corner. Let's go get some food.
Yep. Dude, Mary and I used to live like 5 minutes from there, and we could never get a table.
You have to go at like 3:00 in the afternoon, or like right when they open.
Yeah,
like during the week. You can't go on the weekend. Forget about it.
No, it's crazy.
You can't even find a parking spot, let alone a table.
No, that place is massive.
It's huge, and it's always packed.
Yeah,
like their homemade honey mustard that they carry.
Dude, it's so good.
It's some of the best I've ever had.
It ranks very high in my sauce list.
Yes. Maybe that's a poll we'll have to do one of these days. Like ranking sauces.
Ranking sauces. I like it. It has to be non-barbecue though.
Yeah, it can't be barbecue. That's
too
wide of a spectrum.
That's ranking wing sauces. We're talking about dipping sauces. Those are two different things.
They are.
Unless you're just going straight dip and barbecue, because that's different too. Dip and barbecue versus barbecue wing sauce is two different things in my eyes.
Yeah, like Sweet Baby Ray's is a dip and barbecue sauce for me personally.
Correct.
You can put it on wings, but it's a little too thick. It's a little too thick.
I would never toss a wing in Sweet Baby Ray's. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. I would be more apt to do it with like a Montgomery Inn, which is a little thinner.
Yeah. I mean, I'll crock pot the fuck out of some meatballs and some Sweet Baby Ray's, but
oh yeah.
That's a Gottschall staple, dude.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think that's really just kind of a Midwest staple. Like if you're going to like a 4th of July party coming up, or like a New Year's party, it's all
potluck.
It's all just freaking crock pots. You got mac and cheese. You got the little meatballs, like the little
smokies.
The little smokies. Yeah. And then you've got like some crack dip or like some queso dip, like buffalo chicken dip, and it's all in a spread, and it's just that's pretty much it. If you're going to a Midwest party, that's what it is,
dude. Yeah, that's my comfort food. That's where I feel the best at. Eating, just getting a plate and just not knowing if you take your hand off the bottom of that plate, it's falling out. That's my comfort.
If you don't have the wide grip on the bottom of the plate and you're trying to hold it from the side, forget about it.
Yeah, you've already set yourself up to fail.
Also, if you can hold your plate from the side, then you did it wrong.
Yeah, that's true. That means you don't have enough. That means you're being a pussy. Very true.
Oh Lord! All right, enough of us being fat kids. We could literally sit here and make a 3-hour podcast talking about food.
For sure.
Let's. I do want to start. Rest in peace to one of the greatest to ever do it, Mr. Willie Mays. Man, like he was 93, so he was obviously up there. But it's just kind of crazy. Like the older we get, you're starting to see all these greats and these legends go, and it's just like, wow.
Well, here's a legitimate question: who is the best living baseball player?
Wow. Barry
Bonds.
Good
question, right?
Well, if we're going offense, I'm saying Barry Bonds. If we're going, in the field, it's Nolan Ryan.
Okay.
I'll do it 3 ways: pitcher, Nolan Ryan; hitter, Barry Bonds; fielder. That's where I would get a little caught up.
Johnny Bench.
Yeah,
I'm thinking Johnny Bench. I'm personally saying, as of right now, I believe Johnny Bench is one of the best to ever play the game in general, point blank. Obviously, I think hitting wise, I don't disagree with you. Barry Bonds, the best hands to ever play baseball. I mean, you could. No, you can't make that argument because Tony Gwynn's passed away too.
Yep.
But I think somebody else that doesn't get the love that they like truly deserve on what their impact was to the game is Ricky Henderson.
There's a lot of content that I've seen on TikTok lately involving Ricky Henderson, and it's freaking hilarious.
Dude,
I never realized that he talked in the third person at all times.
Always. Still does to this day. Gave his Hall of Fame speech Hall of Fame induction speech in third person.
That's hilarious.
He's an egomaniac. But what that guy did to the game is he made stealing bags during that time there were multiple players stealing 100 bases a season. That's never going to happen ever again. They made the bags bigger for guys to steal more bases and for it to be more safe. No one will touch 100. I don't think Ellie won't get 100 this year. He doesn't get on base enough to get 100.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what a lot of people forget is that Ricky was a great hitter.
One of the best arguably the best leadoff hitter of all time.
Yeah, and the reason he was so successful at swiping bags, well, obviously one, he's fast, but two, he could get on base a lot.
Always.
And
great
when he was on base, he was stealing one, if not two bags, most times that he was on the paths.
Yeah. He stole what is the stat? He stole more bases after earning the stolen base record than he did. He stole more bags in a second part of his career than he did leading up to setting the record.
That's insane.
It's ridiculous, dude. He completely changed the way baseball operated. Obviously, it transitioned directly into the steroid era, but dude, in the 80s, there was nobody that ran the base path better. Yeah, literally. That's Darryl Strawberry and Doc Gooden. I've been, as morbid as it sounds, that is immediately where my brain went after he passed away. I was like, well, I don't think there's any argument he was the best living player.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
If I'm talking purely about baseball itself, I think he played much longer than what he should have. He played for 26 or 27 years and probably could have hung it up at 22 because he made no impact for the last 3 or 4 years of his playing career.
Yeah.
But I mean, he was the best to do it living, right? I think once Hank Aaron passed away, then it kind of fell into Willie Mays' lap. I think you can make the argument even so that Willie Mays was the best player when both of them were alive. But it's kind of tricky now, dude, because the guys that are still kicking it around, we're getting into the steroid era now. And there's so many asterisks around these dudes' names. Like, obviously, Barry Bonds. Like, I thought about Alex Rodriguez. I don't know if there was – I mean, when Alex Rodriguez was in his prime, I don't know if there was anybody that was as good of an overall hitter besides him and Bonds.
His was the first big contract that I remember.
It was the first $250,000 contract.
Yeah, it was $256 million. I'll never forget the number because that at the time, that was just like, huh? What up, Brian?
What's up, Brian? Yeah, it was astronomical.
Yeah, it was like
you're talking about $250 million for a baseball player. It never happened before, and it was the Rangers of all franchises that did it.
Yeah, and if you look back at the time when he got that, like if you adjusted that for inflation now, I would bet
that's a $600 million contract.
Yeah, it's probably in the realm of a Shohei contract.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's headed to the Braves Stadium to eat somewhere now. Nice, dude.
Ooh, nice. Cobb County. Enjoy it.
Catching the hot Atlanta Braves. I did get to see them play in Boston. That was a treat. The only thing I didn't get to see was Ronald Acuna.
Yeah,
because his knee exploded a week before I was getting to Boston.
That was rough, dude. Non-contact injury like that, it looked gnarly. But yeah, it's a hard question. Like, I agree. Pitching wise, as long as Nolan Ryan lives and breathes, to me, he's the best pitcher to ever do it. I firmly believe that. I would make that argument against anybody that talks about it.
Derek Jeter.
I don't know, Josh. I've talked about this before. I'm just not super high on Jeter overall in his career. So he has 3,000 hits. I respect that. I respect 3,000 hits. I think that he was just a perfect Yankee. That's really what I see him as.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was going to dive into. You know, like environment has a lot to do with it, but there's not a lot of people that could have done what he did for the career length that he had in the city that he played in.
That's
You
fair.
know,
I still think Barry Larkin's a better shortstop than him, but I mean that's I'm sure that's some home bias in my blood, but
I mean, I would have to pull numbers at that point. Like,
yeah,
as far as, because like I wouldn't want that to impact my decision. Like, I would want to see the numbers before I made a conscious decision on that.
sure.
I mean, Jeter's got him blown away in hits. I know that. But as far as like fielding
It's not as
percentage,
far off as you think, dude.
all right, well, let's look it up. What do you think the spread is?
I bet Barry Larkin had at least 2,400 hits.
Baseball Reference, got one of my favorite websites.
2340. So I'm not too far off.
So, and
in
then,
19 years.
And then we have Derek Jeter, who had 3465 over 19 years.
20 years,
So,
yeah.
So he had
with almost 5,000 more at bats. So 1,000 more hits and 5,000
so basically
more at bats.
If you break it down, he was like 200 in those additional 5 years.
Or 5,000 ABs, yeah.
So hitting 200, I should say.
Look, here's the thing. 34 I'm not disrespecting Derek Jeter. I'm not. I mean, having almost 3,500 hits as a professional baseball player is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, it puts him top 10. So top 8. Right?
I don't know. I don't know if we'll see anybody else hit the 3,000 hit mark. I don't think
so. I think
because
that's
players just aren't. The 20-year careers are over.
If there's anybody that's going to be able to do it, that's staying healthy, if they get enough time under their belt, maybe Mookie Betts, but I don't know.
Yeah,
but guys aren't having 200 hit seasons every year anymore either.
No, they're having 200 strikeout seasons. That's for damn
right.
sure.
I mean, like Ichiro did it, 11 years in a row?
Yeah.
Like, there's just guys not doing that anymore. There's injuries, there's rest days, there's, pitching is the best that it's ever been. Like, there's so many parameters behind it. And again, I'm not taking away what Jeter and the guys before him did. And 3,000 hits is 3,000 hits. That's you're an automatic first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
End of conversation.
Yeah, there should be nobody that is like saying no, you're not in. Like,
right.
if you don't get 100% of the vote, then they need to be fired.
They don't. That's the problem. These guys still don't. It's crazy.
Terrible. That's
baseball
writers.
Well, here's a question too. What about Griffey? Is Griffey the best living player?
No, because he couldn't stay healthy.
Okay, that's fair.
As far as like without the asterisks on the offensive side, maybe, but Miguel Cabrera is the last guy to win the Triple Crown, and that's also a valid point there as well. Miggy was unbelievable.
Yeah, he'll be a first ballot Hall of Famer, right? 3,000 hits under his belt too.
Yep.
Yeah, he was. I think it was Yastrzemski was the last person to do it before him. So you're talking about a 40-year gap between that, and before that, it was. I think there's been 17 Triple Crown winners. I think.
That's why I love having my computer here, so I can go to Google.
That number might actually now that I'm sitting on it, that might be too high.
It seems a little high. MLB Triple Crown winners. All right. It's actually more than I thought. A lot of these are super old, though.
Sure.
So, like your most recent, you had Miggy in 2012 and Carl Yastrzemski in 67. Frank Robinson actually did it in 1967, the year prior.
Yep.
And before that, it was a 10-year gap. Mickey Mantle.
Mm-hmm.
Ted Williams did it twice.
Yep.
So Josh Gibson did it 3 times.
Oh, that's right, because it includes now we're including the Negro League stats.
Yep. So those have been.
My 17 doesn't seem so bad anymore now.
That's it's longer now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28.
Whoa.
So this goes all the way back to 1878. Paul Hines was the first. First Triple Crown winner ever, Paul Hines, 1878. There you go. Lock that one away. I'm sure it'll be a trivia question at some point in your life.
Thank you.
Yeah, so let's see here. So NNL, ECL. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 11 of those are Negro League Triple Crowns.
So I was right.
So,
you said 28.
Yeah, so it was 17.
Nice.
So it was 17 prior to the addition of the Negro League stats.
So just a month ago, it was 17. Now it's 28.
Now it's 28. Now you know.
I know. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I'll change the number in my brain.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that? Obviously this was a pretty big hot topic in the sports media for at least a week. On the addition of that, what are your opinions on that?
It's necessary. We include every other professional league that happened before Major League Baseball. These guys were pros too. I think you're talking about a time where guys that were playing in that league could have very easily played professional and Major League Baseball too, and had maybe not as profound statistics, right? I'm just basing that off of you're limiting the talent pool just by eliminating race. But I mean, Josh Gibson is still probably Josh Gibson if he plays for, I don't know, the Brooklyn Giants instead of playing for the Kansas City Monarchs, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I think that's really it. I mean, yes, I think the stats in both sides are elevated. Whether it was the MLB or it was the Negro Leagues, because you didn't have all the best players playing each other. Now, that being said, guys like Satchel Paige and Josh Gibson, they would have transitioned to the MLB just fine.
Yeah, I mean, Satchel Paige didn't get a chance to pitch in the Major League Baseball until he was in his 40s.
They would have had similar careers.
I agree.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys regardless of what league they were in. It was really funny. I was scrolling some TikToks before we got on, and there was a video recently. It was Barry Bonds was getting interviewed, and they asked him, they're like, "Hey Barry, if Satchel Paige was thrown to you, what are you gonna do?" And he just goes, "What? Gone? Like, what are you talking about?" Like, it was Derek Jeter that asked, like, "Jeter, I'm starting to lose a little respect for you." I was like, "Damn." Yeah,
make it hit.
I don't think there's anybody that outside of Tony Gwynn. I don't think there's a better hitter to do it.
It's fair.
Like I casually just go back and watch that home run that he hit off the Angels, and then it just pans to Tim Sam. He's like, "That's the farthest ball I've ever seen hit."
Yeah.
Like, like it's an absolute just fucking blast.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. It was just crazy to think about, but yeah, obviously, a lot has changed in the baseball world. I will say that, I've now been to multiple stadiums and experienced a pitch clock, and dude, it is just such a beautiful thing.
Yep, it's a necessary evil.
It was long overdue, and man, it's because there was so much wasted time.
I agree. Well, did you hear what's coming in the next couple of seasons now? Yep. The old ball strike challenge is coming. Also a necessary evil.
Absolutely. Well, now that Angel Hernandez is gone, the only other
Buckner's still out there.
We only have one more person to worry about.
CB Buckner's still out there. Well, the guy that caught a perfect game in the World Series gets caught gambling. So, what do you do there?
I didn't hear that, but that's also devastating because he was the best.
He was the best. He's the best literal umpire in baseball. Yep. He's got caught gambling. So
that's insane, man. Mm-hmm. I don't understand it. Like, I'm sure he was making plenty of money. Like, it's an addiction.
Yep. I was gonna say these guys don't. Sometimes you don't control the gambling controls you.
You can't measure statistics with different environments. How many more stats would Ted Williams have without the WAR? Would Barry Bonds still have hit home runs without steroids? It's all debatable. Yeah, I agree. I mean, if you look at Ted Williams' stats, like he hit 400 every season up until World War II. He left for 4 years. He came back and then he hit 400. Like how many seasons after? Like
I mean,
dude didn't lose a beat.
Yeah. Well, I think you're making the argument there that you lost 4 years of 200 hit seasons. That's 800 more hits. He's creeping into the 4,000 hit club by that point.
Yeah.
And obviously, fighting in a war impacts your ability to prolong your professional career too.
Josh, that's a very easy question. No,
never.
That will never happen.
Charlie said it a little bit above. He says, injuries are more prevalent. That's absolutely the truth.
Yep.
Injuries are more here. The variance is, players are put on an injured list with injuries now, whereas prior to free agency, there wasn't really an injury list. You just played.
No, because you had to play.
Yeah, you couldn't sit, right? Like Bob Gibson threw a bazillion innings a year. I'm sure his arm hurt. I'm sure his elbow was stiff. I'm sure he had some shoulder soreness. He just pitched. Same with Nolan Ryan. Nolan Ryan literally pitched until his arm failed him. That was it. Once he threw his arm out, he said he was done. He had never done it before that. So it's a totally different world, because now the big variance now too is that these guys are assets to an organization, because athletes are being paid more than they've ever been paid. Correct. So yeah, if Bryce Harper has a sore knee, maybe he doesn't play the day game and then there's a day off. Right. Or if, he rolls his ankle, maybe he sits a series or goes on the 7-day injured list, or whatever the circumstances may be. Also, guys just didn't, like, if their wife had a kid, they weren't missing games. They just played. They're like, sorry, I'll see you when the season's over. The dynamics of the world as a whole are so entirely different than they were even 30 years ago that it's just like the adjustment of time, right? It's like anything else. Time has adjusted everything. So
yeah. I mean, it just comes back to the whole thing where you can't compare eras.
Nope,
because
never.
You can't. Like I most of the time, I think the greatest of all time debate in any sport is kind of pointless. I think you have to go greatest of the era and leave it there. Like, because you could implant certain people in different eras and they would still have success. To what level? That is obviously all speculation and up for debate.
Right.
But at the end of the day, like, you have to really base who's the greatest of that time frame. Like, there's no question from 2001 to 2024 that Tom Brady was the best quarterback in the league of all time. And you could still argue it of all that may be the one where you can be like, yeah, he's pretty much the best.
Yeah.
And
he's a good announcer too. It pisses me off. I watched the UFL so I can hear.
Do you see him on Colin Cowherd?
Dude, he's so good.
He's so
smooth.
Yeah, he's smooth. He speaks with just.
He's very thoughtful. He really is.
He puts his thoughts together very well, and he's able to manifest it in a way where you're like, damn it, I like you.
Yeah.
I don't like that I like you, but I like you.
Right. It's hard not to listen to him and like do kind of what we're doing. You're just shaking your head and you're agreeing with him. You don't even realize it. You're like, stop. No shit.
This is involuntary.
Public enemy number one. Yeah. No, obviously Greg Olson lost the most out of this with Fox, but my concern was that Tom Brady was going to get on there and it was going to be just an ego stroke show.
Tony Romo 2.0.
And I can't, as of right now, it's a very limited sample size on what he's doing as a broadcaster, but he's called the UFL game very nice.
Yeah.
Great on Colin. He handled his roast very, very well. Like, I think that he's just going to be very good in the public eye, and he always will be. Yeah.
Yep. No, he's still got a long career ahead, just on a different path. But speaking of quarterbacks, that Trevor Lawrence contract is absolutely freaking bananas.
It's crazy. I was talking about this with a coworker after it happened. Him and Joe Burrow are making the same money per year. It just blows my mind. I mean, obviously, Dak Prescott is the highest paid quarterback for this season, right? But
it doesn't make any sense. The man's stats literally line up with Daniel Jones.
yeah, and look, I understand the level of you're paying for your. I mean, in theory, he's a franchise quarterback, right? And last year stunk for him because he had some injuries and that impacted his play. And then, but you think like 2 years ago in the second half of that season, he was automatic, right? Like I think of that game against Baltimore where he led that comeback. He was lights out. Couldn't make a bad throw if he tried in that game. Same thing when they came back from that deficit against the Chargers. Did he suck in the first quarter? Yep. Played like shit. 3 picks in the first quarter. Didn't make a mistake the rest of the game. I just think that I'm not 100% sold that he's going to be a quarterback that leads you to Super Bowl contention. And that's what I think of when you pay these quarterbacks these large sums of money, right? It's like you're paying a quarterback that's going to help you win a Super Bowl. I don't think I just don't feel it in my bones that Trevor Lawrence is that guy.
It's like Kirk Cousins.
Right. Right. But even like, or Daniel Jones, right? What Daniel Jones got paid by the Giants.
Yeah.
And I think if Trevor Lawrence would have gotten something similar to what like Daniel Jones got, we're not even having this conversation. We're going, yeah, it's fair.
Yeah, you're like, okay, cool.
You tack on another year or two of that at $45 million a year. You're like, that's fair. He's had some good games. He's won them some games. I'm just not 100% sold that he's a Super Bowl contention quarterback. I think Justin Herbert's ceiling is much higher than Trevor Lawrence's. I still believe that.
I'm very interested to see what Justin Herbert does with a competent coach.
Yeah, it's interesting, man, because you got to think this is year 5 for him, right? Year 5.
Year 5 and his third coach.
Third offense.
Third offense in 5 years.
Yeah,
you gotta be a smart cookie to pick that up.
And I was watching a video of Greg Roman, the offensive coordinator, and Harbaugh talking about Justin Herbert, and Harbaugh goes, "This dude didn't miss a beat. He picked up the playbook by the first day of practice." And Greg Roman's like, "I never even really hardly talked to him about it. He just said, 'I'm fine, just throw me in.'" And he knew the whole playbook walking in. It's just a different breed of quarterback. Like I think Justin Herbert is still that guy, and I don't know if Jim Harbaugh's the perfect coach for a quarterback that likes to throw the ball 50 times a game. But Jim Harbaugh also knows how to win, and he wants to win. So I'm sure he'll make the necessary adjustments. But the Trevor Lawrence contract, it's par for the course of football now. Obviously, Justin Jefferson's contract was ridiculous for a wide receiver.
You saw it coming. He wanted the bag. And he got
and he got almost all of his contract guaranteed as a wide receiver. It's unheard of. So my personal opinion on that is I think that we're almost reaching to the point where these contracts are kind of like capped out, right? Like you can't pay a wide receiver more than $40 million a year. You just can't. That's
unless they adjust the cap.
I still think it's bad business doing that because then you're just I can't fathom that if you are a franchise looking to win and you're building, a 53-man roster, you can't have 30% of your salary in 2 players. That's fiscally irresponsible. You're not going to win, right? You're just not going to win. So, or you're not going to win a Super Bowl rather.
Yeah.
Because you are giving up something somewhere, and you're either giving it up in your secondary, your offensive line, or your defensive line. And
even you won't be able to go as deep on the bench if somebody gets
correct.
hurt.
You lose depth.
Yeah, you lose depth and on the field presence. So it is a very, very slippery slope to navigate.
Yeah.
And there's some teams that have done really well with it, and there's some teams that
look at the Chiefs. The Chiefs have done great. They put together winning teams they haven't not put together a winning team since Mahomes has been their starting quarterback.
Yeah.
So, I don't argue Super Bowls. I don't.
They've got 3
Yeah. And it's not like
in the last 10 years. So
yeah, and they did one this year without Tyreek Hill. So it's not, and obviously Travis Kelce is the best in his position. So I'm not saying that they don't have another guy that's the best at their position doing it, but like
he's also
they did it
35.
well, they did it without Tyreek Hill. That was the whole thing. It was like, oh, there's no way they can win a Super Bowl without Tyreek Hill. Guess what? They did it 2 years in a row.
Yeah, it would have been a hell of a lot easier with him.
Right. But then, but think about it. Then you're sacrificing somewhere else if you're paying him what he got paid.
Right.
And who knows? Maybe their secondary isn't as good.
I'll tell you what, Tyreek in Miami though, it's been fun to watch. I mean, when Miami's on, they're a really, really fun team to watch.
Yeah, they do points in droves.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I did. I wrote that down actually, Josh. Ramondre got signed signed an extension with the Patriots, 4 years, $36 million.
That's a good deal for him.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty big deal for a running back in today's world.
That's a good running back contract, and the way that they're treating running backs these
especially
days.
because of the length. I think that's more so what I was shocked about. The dollar amount's not like anything special, like in terms of NFL money, but it's the length that was like, wow, 4 years. I was surprised. I mean, he's been in the league for what, 3-4 years now.
I think this will be year 3 for him. Maybe year 4. I think he got drafted. He either got drafted in 21 or 22.
Let's look here. Ramondre.
I think he was 21. I think this would have been the last year of his rookie contract anyway.
So 21, 22. He's going to be going into year 4.
Yeah, because he was an Oklahoma guy.
Yep. So he's been in the league 3 years. So this is probably his big deal.
Yeah. Well, he was he was on the Oklahoma team with Jalen Hurts when they were undefeated. That was his running back. That's where he comes from. That's the only way. That's the only way I remember that.
No, that's right.
But no, I mean, look, the Patriots are doing what I think they're going to absolutely be terrible again, which is fine. Like, you got Jacoby Brissett. You don't have to play Drake May this year. You drafted him 3rd. If you want to sit him for, 3/4 of the season, I don't know what New England's bye week is. I don't really give a shit about their schedule. But you don't have to play him this year. You can go 3-14 and get another top 5 pick. And if somebody needs a quarterback, they might come knocking on your door, or you get best available at who's there, right? Like, there's some good edge rushing talent that's in this draft class. There's some good wide receivers in this draft class. Like, this is an organization that's literally flipping. I mean, everything is flipped upside down.
Yeah. I mean, they went from 20 years of stability to,
that's a whole new regime.
Tom Brady left, and then Belichick's gone a few years later. And
from front office to water boy, it's basically brand new.
Yeah, they're starting fresh, man. They realized they had their window, and they definitely took advantage. And now they understand that they have to rebuild.
Yep.
Which is every team has to go through it at some point.
Boston got their title; they're fine. The city will be fine. The
Celtics won. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown did a really nice job.
Is Jason Tatum like Russell Wilson? Have you heard that?
That's a really good comp.
I think he's just.
It's so cheesy.
He's just a weird guy. Yeah, he's just. I don't know. He doesn't do it for me. I like Jaylen Brown's interviews. I like the way he speaks. Obviously, he's an extremely intelligent dude.
He's smart as shit.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a PhD from Cal Berkeley. So
he had a job at NASA, but decided to go play NBA basketball.
Yeah.
They don't just hand out jobs at frickin' NASA.
Nope, they don't.
They're like, hey, we want you. And you're like, oh, okay.
Cool. I'll think about it. Yeah.
A couple $100,000 a year. Sure.
Yeah. The Celtics had this was their one season where they had the window to do it. The Bucks were all banged up.
Everybody was hurt. I'm not sure where Todd went, but their roster was slightly stacked, but like I wouldn't say that the Celtics roster was like insanely deep. But I would say that they came into a good stretch of everything worked the way that they needed it to work in order to get there. Every team that they played and encountered in the Eastern Conference came down with some pretty devastating injuries in the series that they played.
I don't know. I think you look at least what they can go like 7 or 8 deep, and they've got 5 scorers in there, right? Like you've got Tatum, Brown, you got Drew Holiday, who didn't even have to like nut up really for the finals, and then you have Derek White, who has shown me that he could drop 30. He's a scorer.
He's very, very hot and cold. Like when he's hot,
That's
it's
fair.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. And then to me, I think Porzingis is what really helped him. Seriously.
Yeah, they were lacking a big. They had Al Horford for quite a few years, and he's just old.
I pray for him just in general. Just you just won a title. That's all
Retire.
He's been chasing. Hang up the sneakers.
Do the Jerome Bettis thing. Win your title. Hang it up.
He might get his jersey retired in 2 arenas. Like, don't forget how good of a career he had with the Hawks. Yeah,
great Hawk.
He should get his jersey retired twice, and he'll end up in Naismith. So just hang it up, buddy. Like he's played. He was on that national championship team for Florida in like 2007. So 2006. Yeah. He's probably year 17 or 18.
Yeah, like he had a damn good career.
Yeah, you don't have to do anymore.
Yeah, you don't need to send
Al Horford. If you're listening, I support you retiring, buddy. Your dad played in the NBA. You passed your dad in terms of total stats. Like, just
you did good.
Yeah, you made your money. Yeah, no, I think Josh is closer to true than false, man. The Celtics run that roster runs pretty deep, and they're legitimately bigger power forward center away to replace Horford from being right back in this conversation again.
Well, I think the one thing that really sets them apart is Joe Mazzulla. He's
35.
I love that guy.
Brad Stevens is 47.
Their front office is so young. Like, it's great. Like I know that if you're a Lakers fan, you hate it, but like the Celtics are in great shape from a standpoint of they've got a great GM, they've got a great head coach, and they've got a lot of young talent locked into some long deals.
Yeah.
So they're like, as long as they continue each offseason to plug and play like the pieces that they need in order to stay competitive, like they're going to be in it for the next few years. Like that's not a question.
Competitive. Yeah, for sure. They'll be the one to beat in the East. I think the Bucks are pretty close to being broken up. I just feel that.
Yeah, Giannis's time in Milwaukee is coming to an end.
They gave him that massive deal, but he's done 2 years in a row of him, maybe 2 of the last 3 years, where he's had some injuries that have sidelined him for an extended period of time. And then Dame's had the same issues. They gave him a bunch of money. Like Chris Middleton's at the end of his career. Like. What it's a Matthew Dellavedova. Like I don't know. I don't know what you do after that. So
yeah, they're gonna have to blow that up eventually.
We're talking about it's the end of the Golden State era too.
Yeah, that was very clear. That was very clear. Like at the end of the season, like you saw, like you could see it on Steph's face. He's like, remember, I wish people would tell you you're in the good old days while you're in them. Like he had that look on his face.
Yeah.
And it was just like, honestly, it was kind of like sad because like it just takes you back to those moments in your life where you like remember like the good old days and like wish you were still there. And like you just see that like similar pain. And it's like,
I think the big difference is like you saw him physically carrying a roster where he hasn't had to do that for a long time.
He's too old to do it.
He's had so much support since 2013, 2014. Like this is the first time for him where like I was watching him just consistently taking over games.
No, I didn't see that. Apparently Klay Thompson's out the door.
Oh yeah, he's gone, dude. He's a free agent.
It's gonna be interesting, man. It's gonna be an interesting offseason for the NBA.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Well, it started now. I don't know if
yeah.
you saw the first trade happen. Josh Giddey and Alex Caruso
I
straight
did see
up.
that. Yep.
I think that's a bonus move for the Thunder. I think something they lacked going through the postseason was veteran leadership. I think Alex Caruso is a perfect addition for that roster.
Him and Shea in the backcourt.
Yeah, not bad.
That's gonna be
not bad.
That's two very athletic human beings.
Yeah.
Both can handle the ball well. Both can shoot.
Dude, Caruso. I think Caruso has a fucking pit bull in him too, man. That dude gets on the floor and that he gives 140%. That's the thing I like about him. And I mean, OKC is technically where he got his start in the NBA. That was the G League roster that picked him up. So that's how he got his foot in the door. So,
yeah.
And Josh Giddey's just bad publicity at this point. Like, you don't really necessarily.
I'm not sure why Chicago decided to do that deal straight up.
It's a salary dump.
It had to be money. That's literally what I was going to say. Like, it had to be strictly financial.
I'm telling you, they're clearing room to trade for Anthony Davis. It's happening.
Chicago?
Mm-hmm. It's happening. I feel it.
Is he originally from that area?
He is. He went to the Simeon Academy, which is like
where Derrick Rose went.
Yeah, and Jabari Parker, like that's the basketball school of Chicago.
Man, whatever happened to that guy?
I think he plays in Turkey or something now, man. His story's crazy. He might be back in the league. I don't know, but he has probably the saddest NBA story there is.
Yeah,
because
Jabari Parker.
He was not bad. He just had so many injuries. He had so many injuries so fast, and he just got
pushed out.
Yeah, he just got out of and he dude, that year that he was at Duke,
he was unreal.
There was no big man that was better than him.
No,
nobody. And
he would have been incredible.
Yeah,
kind of like Greg Oden. Like if Greg Oden could have stayed healthy, he would have been like the next Shaq. Like,
yeah, he would have he would have for sure done some damage in the league if he would have gotten the opportunity.
He wouldn't have had like a Shaq type career, but he was the biggest person I've seen that in the last few years that had that type of athleticism, and
he could move,
could really do things. But man, big man in their feet, they
kills him.
It is what it is. Same thing happened to Yao Ming at the end of his career. So
that's true. Got his career about 5 years short.
Yeah, those damn micro fractures in their feet.
Yep. Because you're just constantly doing it all the time.
Well, yeah, you're also freaking 350 pounds.
Right. That's what I was going to say. Your body is supporting at least, if you're a healthy big man, you're at least 300, bare minimum. Easy. If you're less than that, you look like Chet Holmgren.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or Wemby. Like Wemby's 230.
Yeah. Like he barely weighs more than me.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Like, and he's got 1.5 feet on me.
Pretty wild. He's a superhuman. I don't know if he's a real person or not.
He was made in a lab somewhere.
Yeah, he might be a cyborg. Yeah. I think he's like French military intelligence or something. I don't know.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me.
Speaking of basketball.
Yeah, go ahead.
JJ Redick, the head coach of the Lakers. I didn't believe it when you told me.
Yeah. It literally popped up on my feed like when we were on the phone earlier. And yeah, I mean there was rumors.
Josh coming in at the same time. Look at that. He and I are
speaking of Duke players, man, we might have to get you. Might have to attach a microphone over there, bro. But yeah, I mean, there's been rumors about it for a while. Obviously, him and LeBron, linked up for the podcast. We don't even know if LeBron's going to be back as a Laker.
Right, he's a free agent.
So I'm very curious to the move. Does it make it better or worse that the job was turned down prior?
Oh, like by Dan Hurley?
Yeah.
I didn't expect Dan Hurley to take the job in general. So
if you're Dan Hurley, why would you?
I don't know if he's an NBA. I don't think he wants to be an NBA coach. Here's the thing. This is, and I kind of fed into this too. You would have to be out of your fucking mind to not take that private jet from Hartford, Connecticut, or wherever UConn is, to Los Angeles and get wined and dined and talk about that deal. Of course he did it. Everybody was freaking out. Like, why would you make the trip if you're not going to take the job? you take that interview. You have that conversation. You have to. Anybody that sells themselves short on an interview for another job at another company, you're crazy not to do it. You should hear anybody and everybody out for an opportunity to advance your career. That's
especially
crazy
when they
not
want
to do
you.
that. Yes, like people
they're
were
coming
shitting
to
on
you
Dan-
saying, "Hey, we want
Yeah.
you to come coach here. Like, will you come
Yeah.
out and see us?" Like, yeah, I mean,
People-
it's the Los Angeles Lakers. It's one of the most like historic franchises in all of sports. Like,
Yes.
you're not gonna just, you know what? I'm good.
Right. That's like if you're a college baseball coach at South Carolina and you know the Yankees call you. You're taking the interview. It's stupid not to. It's the same reason Urban Meyer coached at Jacksonville. You take the interview. It's a professional sport. It's the top. You have also, not only have you met the top level at the collegiate level, right, by winning national championships, you then get to coach in the best league in the world for your prospective sport.
Right.
Of course, Dan Hurley took the interview. Anybody that says that he's done for taking the interview, you don't understand how business works. You should never sell yourself short on getting the opportunity to be wine dined and hear somebody out. I'll hear anybody out for anything.
Yeah, I'll go to dinner with the Bus family anytime.
Yeah, and look, I've said this over the last year that JJ Redick spent a lot of time on television. He's also very thoughtful. He's very well spoken. I really appreciated what he said about Doris Burke. I have a lot of respect for him for saying those things about our Lord in Heaven, Doris Burke. Yes. She is an angel. Anybody that says otherwise will be brought down by the Lucifer himself. Look, at this point, if you're the Lakers, you've ran through all of your coaching options.
Yeah.
There's nobody else. There's no best available.
I mean, Monty Williams became available very recently, and that was an absolutely terrible fire, by the way.
Here's the thing about Monty Williams. Once he got fired by the Suns, he did not want to coach anymore. He had come out and said that he was going to take a break from coaching and focus on family. And then Detroit comes and says, "Hey, we'll give you $72 million over 6 years." Sure. He knew he wasn't going to make it more than 2 years. They still owe him $66 million.
Yeah. I mean, he knew for him, great deal.
Yeah.
Like he knew that he knew the roster going in and he knew it was going to suck. And he's like, but
he did. He did the smartest thing that he could do for himself. He took the bag, dealt with a shitty team, and gets fired and goes, "Great."
He's like, I could deal with bullshit for 2 years if they're going to pay me $66 million to sit on my ass on the couch and hang out with the family.
Absolutely.
Like, good for him. I'm happy for him, but I'm just saying, like, if you're Detroit, what the fuck are you thinking?
The Pistons are the worst run professional sports organization there is. They're terrible. Look at all the top 5 picks that they've had. And they haven't done anything since what? 2013? What's the last time they made let me see.
2012.
Last time they made
I believe. Because that was like the last end of the run with like Chauncey Billups and Rip and Ben Wallace, right? Or was that late 2000s? Because they won in 08, right?
2004 was their last championship.
2004. God, it was that long ago. Shit.
Yep. Let's see.
Monty Williams firing will hopefully signify a legitimate step forward for the Pistons. Yahoo Sports, y'all are freaking stupid. I'm not even going to click that. That's not even worth my time. Yeah, I don't understand how they expected him to be successful.
Okay, they made the playoffs in 2018 and lost and got swept by the Bucks.
Was that like a playing game?
No, it was 1-8. 2015, 2016 swept by the Cavs, 1-8. And then 08, 09 was the last time they got swept by the Cavs then too. 07 was the last time they won a playoff series.
So I mean, they went up against LeBron, pretty much.
LeBron twice and Giannis once. Yes,
but Giannis in his prime.
I think Giannis is still we're still talking about prime Giannis. We're just talking about an injury-prone prime Giannis, so it might change. But
Yeah, I mean, we're at the end of his prime.
yeah, he's been in the league for 11 years or something like that now.
Yeah, we're definitely downhill at this point.
Yeah,
you know, there's still a slope, but it's on the other side.
Once Joe Dumars got out of that front office, here is my thing about, you look at the Pistons, none of the old players come back. None of them. When's the last time
That's a really good point.
Yeah, Ben Wallace went into the Naismith and basically went in without really just back of the jersey kind of thing. Where's Rasheed? Where's Chauncey Billups? Where's Tayshaun Prince? Where's Rip Hamilton? Rip Hamilton's one of the best players to ever play for that organization. You don't ever hear about him going back and doing anything in Detroit. That organization is a dumpster fire, dude. It's a dumpster fire. And I can't see a world where the Ford family doesn't think about buying them out and just taking over. It's got to be soon. It's got to be soon. Or the guy that runs Little Caesars, that's got to be coming soon.
Yeah, because if you look at the things that they're doing, on the gridiron,
oh shit! Look at their baseball. They're right there in the AL Central. They're third in the AL Central, and I don't know enough about hockey to give a good answer there, but Detroit is. Obviously they went through a pretty significant economic regression, but it's on the upswing now, and more people are going to Lions games in a long time. I would capitalize on fans being hungry for sports, right? So it's crazy, dude. If anybody listening or you too, man, look into the Pistons front office. It's a nepotism nightmare that I unlike any other. It's horrible.
That will absolutely wreck companies.
Yeah. Horrible. Nope. The people making the decisions have no business being in the roles that they're in.
Yeah, it's one of those famous things. Hire people for jobs that you're not good at.
Right.
If you're clearly not good at it, to hire somebody that's good at it. And let them do it.
Well, they did just bring his last name's Trajan Langdon. That played for Duke. He played in the league for a little bit. He's going to be their general manager now. So
interesting.
The Duke guy, been around basketball. Hopefully it puts him in the right direction. I have no idea who would want to fucking coach there. Seriously.
They're going to have to give me one of them Monty Williams contracts.
Right. They're going to be in the same scenario like the Raiders are, right? They're just going to be paying coaches for forever.
And the Panthers?
Or the Panthers, the Jaguars. They're just going to be paying coaches more so the Panthers now, but they're going to be paying coaches for forever.
Coaches don't play a role in the cap, though, do they?
No. Nope. It's a whole separate fund.
Okay, so then that's just money down the drain. It's gone.
Right. It's like saying that the operations and the sales budget's in one account. It's two different entities of the business.
Roger that. Yeah, I didn't think they were part of the cap. That'd be interesting if they were, though.
Teams would not. John Gruden would not have gotten $100 million contract if that were the case.
yeah, that was $100 million poorly spent.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, that is what it is. You got anything else?
No, I think that's a podcast. Good hour podcast. Get back into the group.
Nice little short session by our standards. We're gonna do our best to be back next week.
Dude, I legitimately heard that. I have no commitments on a Friday or on a Thursday for up until pretty much when I go to Colorado.
All right.
So I should be fairly available for most things. That's barring, obviously, there's a toddler in my life that could change things, but
sure. Yeah, I believe I work early next Thursday, and then I don't have to go in until 1:00 on Friday. So next Thursday night could get a little weird, but we'll go from there. Chat, appreciate everybody coming through and commenting. It was a fun little rabbit hole we went down. We had a lot to talk about after not being here for a couple weeks, and we still have a lot more to cover. So we'll be back for you next Thursday around 8:00. We will catch everybody then. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.